I think better times are ahead when it comes to Akash's native token called AKT, because during this bull run, hypothetically reaching the price of $200, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever, even though nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee. I haven't given up when it comes to Akash. I still believe in it because allegedly it has one of the best fundamentals out there. I mean, after all, it's been noted that Akash is the world's first ever decentralized super cloud. Now, you may be thinking, okay, what does this even mean? Sounds like a bunch of nonsense. Well, hear me out, because if you take a look at a cloud, in this case, it's someone's computer out there sitting in a data center. And keep in mind, there's millions upon millions of data centers. And there's actually an issue with this. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that there's a lot of unused capacity, which of course is kind of a caca situation. That's the way I take a look at it, because it's kind of suck, right? Having this unused capacity, but then not really being able to use it to its full potential. Now, that right there is where something like Akash does step in, because it's even been stated that Akash, takes the available capacity and creates a super cloud that connects private and public clouds in a decentralized manner, which I think is absolutely amazing. And even also, it's been noted that, one of the benefits of this is that it gives better access to resources. For instance, like getting GPUs, graphic processing units, that's what it stands for. But besides that point, for AI. So yeah, that's amazing. And we all know that AI is going to be massive. I mean, come on, right? The market is predicted to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. That's insane. The GDP of Canada, by the way, back in 2022 was around $2 trillion. So this is very legendary stuff, in my opinion. Did a lot of the hype kind of die down when it comes to AI? Yes, but I think better days are ahead. And not to mention, the amazing thing about Akash is this, right? People don't really consider this, but if you take a look at Grayscale, and we all know that it's pretty much one of the biggest things out there. If you take a look at assets under consideration, what is there? It says something called Akash. And yes, I'm talking about this Akash, aka, again, AKT, right? It's native token. This is how fantastic it is. You got to think about how, for instance, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust currently holds over 220,000 Bitcoin, slightly over that, which is around, $14.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And, considering current prices, this is how insane it is. Just the fact that Grayscale even considers Akash, that right there is fantastic. And that's just how special it really is. You got to think about how, when it comes to Akash, a lot of the times people say that the use case is caca, it's trash. But if it was so bad, would it be under consideration when it comes to Grayscale? Absolutely not. Something that massive, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to actually look into things. They're not going to just listen to the opinions of people on X and take the opinions of people there and be like, oh yeah, this person said it's cool, let's look into it. No, that's not the case. Again, they have their own team. They verify stuff before actually doing something. So I think this is fantastic. Now, does this automatically mean that Grayscale is going to start acquiring like Akash? No, that's not the case. Again, it's just under consideration. But I think this right here is still bullish news nonetheless, because, hey, I think it's a step in the right direction. And even having the potential of just being acquired by, let's say, Grayscale. I'm not saying they're going to acquire all of Akash, right? But let's say Grayscale starts acquiring, incremental amounts of Akash's native token called AKT. That could already be massive. So I think this right here is massive news nonetheless. Not to mention, I think it kind of validates Akash as a premier project because, again, Grayscale, they're pretty much one of the most reputable things out there. This is how amazing it is. However, when it comes to Akash, it doesn't end there because they even claim to be the world's premier decentralized compute marketplace. And a compute marketplace is a platform where people can buy and sell computing power. So I think this right here, again, is very great news. At least that's the way I view it. I mean, you take a look at how a lot of countries nowadays, they're becoming more technologically advanced. I think that it's only natural to assume that there's going to be more data centers out there. And also on top of that, when it comes to that, of course, right, there's going to be potentially a lot of more unused capacity. And of course, Akash, man, it could very well use it to its advantage. And I really love that. Akash is an actual serious project. It's not caca, it's not nonsense, it's not trash. That's not the case. It actually has a fundamental use case, which sometimes people often ignore. But hey, I look into it and understand just how special it is. Not to mention, you take a look at, again, $200. Not too bad. Considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $50 billion. That, by the way, is over $30 billion less than Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. And that's not a joke. Dogecoin at one point reached over $80 billion in market cap. So this is an insane. Also on top of that, you take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption, also the Ethereum ETF. I think this right here, again, this bull run could be so massive. Bitcoin going to the price of $150,000. I don't see why not. Especially also when I consider, how there's currently over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. So again, I think Bitcoin is poised for great heights. Do I think Bitcoin is going to reach it like this year? I think potentially next year. I think a little bit, too optimistic this year. Even though I think Bitcoin could have a good recovery this year, I think the time to shine is really 2025. So I think around 6 months from right now, a year from right now, as Bitcoin does reach amazing heights, I think it's only fair to assume that altcoins, much like AKT, they're going to go along with the ride as well. So at that point, $200 really wouldn't concern me whatsoever. Not to mention, you take a look at how, based off of history, usually altcoins, they peak as a worst case scenario around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event. Now, the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April, so a year and a half is October next year. So it's not so bad. It's just basically a year from right now. So I still think that better days are ahead. And again, it doesn't seem so bad because granted could happen a lot sooner. We just never know. But even as a worst case, it's not that much longer anyways. And my strategy is very simple, dollar cost averaging. So anytime an income, I'm going to be acquiring, holding, and just waiting. That's it. I'm not going to be day trading, using leverage or swing trading. I'm not going to be doing any of that type of stuff whatsoever. I like to keep things simple. And the way you take a look at Akash, it's that it's basically like a meme coin when it comes to its hypothetical potential, but then the fundamentals are A+. Because just hear me out, right? Even though some people may think I'm crazy for saying this, you take a look at how $200 is over a 75x from here. Typically, reaching over like a 70x, for instance, that's like reserved for a lot of meme coins, right? Sometimes when people say, hey, they want to look for like over a 50x, 70x, oftentimes people say, oh yeah, look into meme coins, all this type of stuff. But then the crazy thing about AKT is that it's not a meme coin, but then its room for growth feels like a meme coin. You know what I mean? Akash, its fundamentals, it's pretty much better than like 100% of the meme coins out there. Let's face it, right? Even despite that, its native token, again, has a lot of room to grow, which is kind of crazy to think about. As of right now, people, they're heavily focused on, meme coins, all this type of stuff. But I think that eventually it's going to shift because typically a lot of people, they're going to eventually move on to other projects. And I think when it comes to Akash, it could very well be one of those, amazing premier projects. Because if you think about it, its, mission is so unique. Again, it's allegedly the world's first ever decentralized super cloud. That's fantastic. Come on, right? Trying to use like unused capacity in these data centers. This is how genius they are. Sometimes people don't understand this. Again, as of right now, the sentiment is heavy towards meme coins, but I think it's going to change eventually. And I think brighter days are ahead. And here's the thing. Sometimes people like to think that when it comes to AKT, exposure is bad, all this type of stuff, but I disagree. It's listed in a bunch of major exchanges. So yeah, exposure isn't caca by any means. And not to mention, when people like to say that, oh yeah, when it comes to Akash, it's already peaked, all this type of stuff. No, I think better days are ahead. Bitcoin hasn't even reached the price of $100,000 yet. I don't know why people keep saying that. And by the way, if you want to know my exit strategy when it comes to AKT, you want to know when I'm holding my portfolio, and also on top of that, if you want me to review your portfolio, feel free to join the Discord. The link is in the description below if you want to. And also on top of that, feel free to also become a channel member so that way I can prioritize responding to your comments. But yeah, even besides that, I do believe that Akash, it's far from over. I think it's so amazing. Sometimes people like to think that, this is a dinosaur project, but no, I think better days are ahead. And again, AKT at the price of $200 during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think Akash is that fundamentally amazing. And I think this bull run could be that fantastic. And I really can't wait. It's just a waiting game at this point. All I got to do is just stay patient and continue my strategy of acquiring anytime on income, holding and just waiting. That's it. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.